Hetepu, Assalamu alaikum, Namaste, Harun Nefer. This is Qesankh with another exciting video for you. In this video, this will be a very important and historic video. I'm going to reveal to you the shocking truth about UFOs, which is not so black and white. It's not so simple. But before I do that, I want you to hit the like button on this video. If this is your first time to my channel, welcome. Hit the subscribe button to get notifications on when I go live and when I upload recorded videos. If you'd like to know more about my spiritual teachings, because I do teach a system of spirituality, the Kemetic religion or spiritual teachings, you can scroll down below and click on one of the 4 ebooks, download them, and start reading them right away. Again, they're free. However, if you want to go down that rabbit hole and get out of the matrix, you can support me on Patreon. You can do so for as little as $1, $5, or $20 per month, and you'll get exclusive access to instructional videos on the esoteric, on the spiritual, videos that will teach you how to meditate properly, how to do astral projection, lucid dreaming, how to contact your ancestors, your spirit guides, how to put together a magical amulet, how to do self-hypnosis, and so much more. And if you are a Osir level supporter, you'll get all your Oracle readings for free. And just a note on that, I am backlogged on all those Oracle readings, but I will get to them. A lot of people have signed up, so I'm putting people in the queue, and just please be patient. Last but not least, share this video with family and friends so we can get this revolution started. So, Harun Nefer, Grand Rising, may Buddha bless you. Today has been like a crazy busy day. I think I am taking on a lot, but that's okay because, my incarnation objective, my IO, is Ma'at Hatep. So Ma'at is a multitasker, so I can handle it. And don't forget to check out the website World Passport Bros. Exciting thing happened. I wrote an article that Dr. Qesankh Johnson, PhD, he actually delved deep into the article that I wrote on his channel, and that was wonderful. So, his viewers got an opportunity to get a different perspective on what we call the Passport Bros. And if you want to read that article, just go to worldpassportbros.com. It's the latest article on the blog section. And check that out because, as I had mentioned in previous broadcasts, we are going to Brazil in February, and we're going for Carnival. That's going to be great. So if you're a man or a woman who is interested in going, please register on World Passport Bros. We go as a group. So just so you know, because traveling alone is not the best thing. I mean, I did it. I mean, I was like a adventure. But you don't want to do that because I got lost in Paris, missed my flight, couldn't find my hotel. It worked out well though because I met this French couple who tried to help me. Yeah, it was tough. We just couldn't. I didn't speak French. They didn't speak English, so it was very tough to understand. But they were trying to tell me where to go for the airport. But like I said, I just missed the flight, and it worked out anyway. It was one of the best trips I ever had. France is a great place if you ever get a chance to go there. Very romantic. So check it out. The other thing now I want to talk about is the six-figure PM. Now, this is a program that we've combined with World Passport Bros. This six-figure PM is a training program, a 6-week training program that will train you to be a digital project manager or producer. So what is that? That is someone who manages a team that builds websites, mobile apps, and all kinds of great things. So those positions usually start at the 6 figures, and those positions are highly in demand, and you can work remotely. So the people that I train who also are passport bros, can go overseas, stay there for a length of time, and work remotely from there as a digital PM. So check out that program. It's you can find the link in the description box called the six. Well, it's on World Passport Bros. Go to World Passport Bros and go to the menu option that says I think it says work um, uh, abroad or something like that to that effect. So check that out. So I want to get into this UFO um, arena and talk about this. Now, we're waiting for a disclosure, meaning we're waiting for the government to reveal to us what is really going on with these UFOs. And we thought that we would have disclosure and the government would come and tell us the truth, but they didn't. All they did was show us what we call as a Tic Tac video. I don't think you guys have seen that Tic Tac video. I did do a broadcast where I showed it. Whereas that it's just of a UFO, and our air fighters couldn't catch up with it, didn't know what it was. So that was what they call disclosure. They admitted that there are things that are flying in the air, and we have no idea what they are. But we do have what we call as experiencers, or people who have been what we call as abducted and subjected to medical experiments by the so-called ETs. And books have been written about this. Bud Hopkins is one of the most noted UFO investigators. He wrote this book called Intruders. Kind of really scary too. Kind of like freaked me out a bit. And then there is this one. I'm going to talk a little bit about this one, Whitley Strieberg. Now, Whitley is a science fiction novelist, writer who suddenly got abducted by UFOs to help his career out in writing this book. This is a really well written book, but there's no way in the world I believe his story. So I think he is an opportunist, taking advantage of experiencers, people who've been abducted, to make a profit off of this. And this is why I've never got into the UFO arena. There's a lot of crazy people in that whole UFO thing, and they have their MUFON or UFO meetings in Las Vegas every year, I believe. And you'll find that these people, they're just like seeking attention. They make up these wild, elaborate stories about being abducted. But with that said, I want you to understand there are people who have had legitimate encounters with unidentified flying objects and so-called ETs. First and foremost are this interracial couple called Betty. Their names are Betty and Barney Hill. And Barney's black, Betty's white, and they were traveling through this remote road, and they got abducted by these UFO aliens, taken in and subjected to experiments. Betty, they injected a needle into Betty's navel to check and see if she was pregnant. Now, both of them have since passed on, but it's an amazing story. So you should, I think it's called The Interrupted Journey. Go check their story out. It's just very fascinating. And their story, I do believe. But the one thing is, you've got to keep an open mind about this stuff. Some people say the government is doing this to set us up for a potential alien invasion, and that's actually a real concern, that the government is going to do this false flag alien invasion so that we come running to them for salvation. And our government has always been about creating an enemy, whether it be black people, whether it be Muslims. They have to create a fictitious enemy to make it seem like America's the good guy in whatever we do. So I'm going to reveal to you the truth behind all of this and what's going on, because it took me a while to do a lot of research to pile through all of this stuff, because it wasn't a major concern of my life. I'm doing other things. So I got around to really taking a deep dive into all of this to try to understand, what really is going on. And this is kind of related and kind of not, but I'm going to tell you this. Years ago, I had a good friend named Tony, and we were talking about how racism spread through the planet globally. How did these a small group of minority white people suddenly rise to prominence when back in antiquity, the major cultures and civilizations were of people of color. So what happened to tip that balance? And I said kind of like I just threw it out there and I said, oh, time travel, you know? And this is like years ago. And but shockingly enough, that's not too far off. Too far off. Now, I want you to keep an open mind about what I'm going to tell you. And I'm going to tell you this has been verified because I don't bring things to you that haven't been heavily researched. Okay. So I want you to understand this. So here we go. Here's the big thing here. When we talk about UFOs, don't I want you to get in the mindset of thinking that it could be anything. It could be a government secret ops project. It could be aliens. It could be entities that have already existed on this planet. Because when you observe I remember when they were talking about people interacting or having some type of close encounter, that when you see a legitimate UFO, you'll notice the craft has a consciousness to it. It's almost like if like, I remember seeing a raccoon once and the raccoon looked me directly in the eyes and I was afraid it was going to attack me. And I could tell that there was a consciousness in the raccoon. And that's the same thing that happened with the UFO. I knew it was conscious. So some say the ETs put their consciousness into the craft. However, it's done. When you see a legit UFO, you're going to realize if it's legit that it's a consciousness looking back at you. It's like staring in the mirror for an extended period of time. You can tell that you have a consciousness and something is within you. In fact, that's an exercise we do in the Kemetic spiritual system, is stare into a mirror for a great length of time to really see and experience that there's something within you and that you are not the physical body. So I want you just to keep in mind like what UFOs are. They are unidentified flying objects. They are not, you should never associate them right away with ETs, extraterrestrials, because they could be anything. Keep an open mind. But with that said, let's talk about the small percentage of people who have been abducted, okay? Who have been abducted by legitimate, what we would call ETs, all right? Um, these people have undergone all types of experiments, including um, semen being taken, anal probes supposedly, and also the women being forced to give babies to hybrid beings, half ETs and half human, and the babies being taken away. And then there are other encounters to where people have met these hybrids. And I'm going to tell you that these hybrids do exist in our society. They are part of our society. They have acclimated into our world. These hybrids. But here's the shocking part that is going to take you. It may make you fall off your seat. So I'm going to tell you about the truth about these ETs. These so-called extraterrestrial beings are not extraterrestrial beings. They're not ETs from other planets in our solar system. That's not what they are. And if anybody in the UFO community had any sense and were to use their head, they could logically deduce who these ETs are. And I'm surprised that all of these conferences and seminars that they've had, that only a handful of them know the truth. And I don't know if the rest don't know the truth or they're refusing to accept the truth, but they're not extraterrestrial beings from other planets. They are not. And I need to be clear on that. And you need to be clear. And I'm going to tell you why. If you were to go to Mars and you take off with no spacesuit, you would die. It's Ma'at call. It's the Ma'at principle of form, function, relationship, interrelationship. We here can breathe oxygen because we come from the earth. We are Terrans or Earth beings. We cannot breathe and survive on Mars, nor could we do so on Mercury or Venus. The pressure would crush us in an instant. Nor could we exist on Pluto. The cold would kill us. But however, life can spring up on those planets because it's that life forms that form on that planet are a part of that planet's natural evolutionary environment. So a being could develop on Mars, life could develop on Mars that doesn't need as much oxygen as what we have here on Earth. But if that being comes here to Earth, it would die because it was not evolved, let's use that word, on Earth. It would need a spacesuit to come to Earth from Mars. Not only that, the gravity would be totally different. So if you go to the moon, you see how the astronauts jump up and down, and they jump up slowly and come down slowly because it's a different gravity. And we did not come from the moon. We did not evolve on the moon. So we're able to do that. However, if beings were to evolve on the moon, they'd probably be regular walking because they're used to that type of gravity that's on the moon. But when they come to Earth, the gravity would probably be too strong for them. You see what I'm saying? So now follow me here. Here we go. There is no way that ETs or UFOs ETs can come to our planet, come out of their ships and be able to breathe in our atmosphere. They wouldn't. They would have to have spacesuits. But there's not one report of these beings wearing spacesuits. And also, the beings have no problem walking on Earth in our gravity. So the probability that they come from another planet that has the same level of oxygen and the same gravitational pull, those odds are astronomical. That would not happen. ETs cannot breathe and function in our atmosphere, in our environment here on Earth, without some type of spacesuit. But they don't wear any. People report, oh no, they just walk around exposed to our atmosphere without any problems. In the case of Betty and Barney Hill, the UFOs carried the ETs carried them, Betty and Barney Hill, to their ship through the woods. There's all kinds of mosquitoes and things that these ETs wouldn't die from if they, unless they were acclimated to our environment and those mosquito and bug bites that wouldn't bother them. That's the interesting part. No one's figured that out. So that tells me that these ETs evolved in the same environment that we have here on Earth. Not only that, let's take it further. When the ETs do the impregnation of the women and have them have these hybrid babies, that's impossible. If you're from an alien planet and you come to Earth, there is no way that your genetic makeup could mix with ours to produce a baby. You can't, as a physical human being, a man can't put his seed into a cow and have that cow give birth to a half cow, half human. Different species. Even though they claim the monkeys and the apes or whatever are distant relatives, our cousins, we can't mate with those monkeys and apes and produce a hybrid. We can't. Two different species. And we're on the same planet. Now imagine you coming from a totally different planet, totally different environment, totally different atmosphere, coming here to Earth. There's no way your genetic makeup could allow you to produce a baby with us unless you are us. The only explanation is that they are not from another planet. They are from the future. They are us. Those ETs are us from the future who have come back in time to harvest our genetic DNA. They are part of a divergent timeline. You see, these beings, which we call grays, grays are humans, and they look Asian. They look Asian. They're called grays, and they come back to harvest our DNA because they have genetically manipulated themselves to a point now where they cannot reproduce in the future. So to save themselves from dying out, they have come back to present day to harvest our seeds, our DNA, to fix the mistake that they made. And that mistake that they made was to genetically manipulate themselves to the point of where those grays have no emotions. They're half organic and half AI machine. So we know this by exploring the facts that I've already laid out to you. And because, and let me, if you don't know anything about physics and things of that nature, we know that their crafts have no problem with G-forces. They can be at one point in space-time and then within a millisecond be at another point. That would mean you have mastered gravity. And not only that, we know that they disappear and reappear. So their craft are interdimensional. And we know that if you understand the 12 or 11 dimensions and you're able to manipulate dimensions, or to manipulate the ability to travel through dimensions, which many UFO experiencers said that the grays can walk through walls, then that means if you can manipulate gravity, then you have the basis of traveling through dimensions. And if you can travel through dimensions, then time is not a problem. You can time travel. So they have that ability. They are us to travel back here to this point, to harvest our DNA, to take back to the future, to fix themselves because they screwed up. And we know it's going in that direction because the big talk now is all about AI. And Elon Musk is leading this, talking about implanting chips in your head so you can be connected to the internet and you can download this information, an endless amount of information. So we are already heading to that dark dystopian future where we would genetically manipulate ourselves and become half organic and half machine, and ridding ourselves of emotions. Y'all hear me? Was that so hard to deduce? So they're not, these grays are not from another planet. It's impossible for them to be from another planet and come here and be able to breathe in our atmosphere and be able to walk and to be able to procreate with us. That's impossible unless they are us from another reality, from another future, for our future. future, one possible future, from a divergent future. Exactly, like a cyborg. Because many have reported that these ETs have no emotions. And we know that the cabal, the ruling elite, have genetically manipulated themselves to not be empathetic, which is how they can commit mass murder. You understand? Oh, here's my wife. There she is. Y'all give a hello and a cheer to my wife. Don't you love that? Wait, I think she says something. What did you Hatepu, what did you say?
I love you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Listen, there are two things we know for sure. Number one, that they want to get rid of Black people off this planet. Number two, they want to merge us with AI technology. So we know that they are going to start genetic manipulation to where we get to a point where we no longer look human, but we look like the Greys. This is the future we're headed to. And we know that it's not going to work out for the Greys, and we are their ancestors. Yes, we are their ancestors. We know it's not going to work out for them, forcing them to come back in time and to do genetic hybrid experiments to abduct people, women especially, and create these hybrid babies. And the abductions that they do are horrifying. It puts the people through such trauma that they need therapy. You understand? And the ETs didn't realize, because they have no emotions, that we would be terrorized by the experience. It's the same way if you go out there and you find a rabbit and you catch it, the rabbit's going to squeak and make all this noise because it's scared. It doesn't know what your intent is. You may want to just take care of it and give it like some carrots and stuff, but the rabbit doesn't know that. And the thing that they have done to abduct people and put them through these procedures without their permission is appalling. It's appalling. And they have started to put trackers in people so they can track the family line. But the most dangerous part about this is many people who have gone under deep hypnosis or trance, because you can project your consciousness into the future. You know that, right? You don't need a machine, a time machine. These people have projected their consciousness in the future, says they never see Black people in the future. And that's scary. We should be concerned about that. And the Greys, this is a hive mind. If you know what I mean by hive mind, is they all act as one. There's no like individuality. But we did this to ourselves. We did it to ourselves. We genetically manipulated to our physical bodies and merged us with machines, AI, to the point of where we no longer look like we look today. In fact, these Greys probably look upon us the same way we would look at a Neanderthal. Because you see, I'm going to explain it, and here's the big thing you're going to get. Please listen to what I'm about to say. Please listen. Yes, the Neteru. Okay, that's a good question. So let me explain what the Neteru say about the Greys. Don't call them entities, call them Greys. The Neteru says that they are our family. We are their ancestors. That's what the Neteru says directly from God, the oracles. But here's the big thing, and I'm going to end with this because I got something I got to take care of. All right. This white man doesn't understand God. And I'm not putting white people down, but this white man doesn't understand God. So the reason this white man genetically manipulated himself is because he did not want to spiritually evolve. So, in other words, listen to what I'm saying, people. Our ancestors from Atlantis, from Kemet, Egypt, had spiritually evolved to the point of being gods. Such as you would name yourself after the god or goddess Ma'at, Heteru, Sekert, Sebek, Nebhet, Baset. You see, where we had the ability to go through trance and connect with the Akashic records, the great library, and download information into our consciousness about everything. The white man doesn't want to do that. So what does he do? He merges himself with technology. He implants a chip into his head that connects to the World Wide Web so you can download information. God never intended that to be. God intended you to evolve to a point that your consciousness would connect with the Akashic records and you would have the information of the universe. But this white man doesn't understand that, so he's not willing to spiritually evolve. So he wants everybody to put this chip in his head. You understand? So our ancestors in Kemet created the story of Asar and the Set to let you know that you must control your emotions. You must subdue the mammalian and the reptilian brain, or else it will destroy you, which is what Set is. Set is the personification of your emotions becoming destructive to you. So what did our ancestors do in Kemet and Atlantis? They mastered their emotions through Heru. Heru is the will. You became the master of your emotions and your emotions were in check. But this white man doesn't want to do that. So what does he do? He genetically manipulates himself to remove emotions. So he becomes dead inside. He's so hung up on color and phenotype that he genetically transforms his physical body and clones all of those to produce the grays. So instead of this man doing what he was supposed to do, which was to naturally spiritually evolve, he did the wrong thing because he was using the Sebek left brain and used science to manipulate his physical body, his emotions. And he went too far to the point of where he couldn't even reproduce. Because now they're trying to push this whole non-binary thing. You're not any one sex. You're not male or female. You're non-binary. So these grays cannot reproduce anymore. So there's nothing for their consciousness to reincarnate into. So they're stuck. They can't reincarnate into anything because they can't reproduce. So it's do or die for them. They have to come back get our genetic seed, merge with us to produce hybrids so they can reincarnate into these hybrids. They're playing God now. Do you see? Do you see what's going on? They're stuck. These grays are stuck. They cannot reproduce. And because they cannot reproduce, the human existence will end. And because they cannot reproduce, they cannot reincarnate. They're screwed. So they have no chance or no choice but to come back in time using the technology of interdimensional travel to come back to us, abduct people, and take their DNA and their sperm and their eggs and try to create like a Frankensteinian creation and have these and create these hybrids so that their line can continue to procreate and reincarnate. This is the secret they don't want you to know. This is why most people who have been abducted talk about how these ETs lie. They tell these people, yes, you're special. That's why we chose you. Yeah, we're from another planet. They're lying. They're not going to tell you they're from the future. They're not going to tell you they're from a divergent timeline. They're not going to tell you that they can't reproduce or they're stealing your seed. You with me? Y'all donate to the channel, please, because I'm dropping some real serious stuff to where you can now, you're part of the few, the part of the privilege who now have this information. I've verified the information by going to the oracles. The oracles have verified it. 2 questions I asked. I said, who are the ETs? The oracle said they're your family. You're their ancestors. I said, are they time traveling from the future? The oracle said yes. I asked them, did they go back in time to mess with our history to the point of where they tipped the scales, giving white people an advantage in this time? I'm not going to reveal that answer. I'll reveal the answer on another broadcast. See, we in Africa and Kemet knew that there were no shortcuts. We spiritually evolved. We connected with Source by nullifying our egos and controlling our emotions. But this man doesn't want to do it because he's corrupt. He's corrupt. He's all about genetic manipulation, machines and technology. See, our civilizations were even of a higher technology than theirs, but it was different. See, our technology was of the natural technology of the earth. We use crystals to store information to project holographs. We weren't primitive. We were a very advanced civilization. We didn't use spaceships to travel through space. We astral projected to travel through different planets. We went to different dimensions through using the lotus flower as and that was, we used other things that were rich in DMT and ayahuasca to project our consciousness to these different dimensions to interact with these different beings in those dimensions and gain knowledge and wisdom. Do you not understand? And that is correct. All right, guys, I'm dropping signs. Donate to the channel, man. Got people going to these other channels or these fake fraud hoteppers, and I'm dropping truth to you, and you guys are not even donating. Let's get this. Come on, donate. I hate to say this, but you know, it shows that you care. I donate sometimes a lot on other channels, and if I can't donate a lot, I'd give at least $2. And don't forget, hit the like button. All right, because it doesn't make any sense. You guys don't support your own stuff. Oh, where'd she go? Oh, here she go. I see her. I'm gonna start finding somebody. Yeah, you're right. It's a non-gender though. It's not a gender. So you can't say third gender. It's not a gender. It's neutral. You know what I mean? So yeah, unfortunately, that's what they're trying to do. They're actually trying to eliminate gender. So keep that in mind if you can. It's sad. It's really sad that this creature, this man, and I'm only saying that in essence to the global elite. I'm not saying that to all white people, because all white people are of God, and God doesn't create things that don't have a purpose, and God doesn't create things that are inherently evil, because you're a part of God. Your consciousness is of God, but because we have a free will, we can choose to do evil, and that's what the cabal has done. They have chosen to do evil, and they have chosen to oppress their emotions so they don't feel the impact of the wars that they've created, because they have orchestrated all the wars. World War I, World War II, the cabal was behind those wars. The cabal started those wars, and they had an investment on both sides. So no matter who won, the cabal won. Hitler was a black magician. He was skilled in the dark arts. So this stuff goes, and the cabal is about the dark arts. They are master magicians, but you'll never see them because they hide behind the veil. Okay, so there are two types. There are different types of reptilians, right? So you do have some that are good, and you have some that are very negative. So keep that in mind, okay? And the reptilians, they're not aliens. They're from a divergent timeline. You have to understand that when you look into the matrix, you're looking at an infinite number of possibilities that can manifest. So the goal of the cabal is to control your mind to such a degree that you go to the future that they want. So they create all this mind programming to get us all on the same page to go to the dystopian future where they rule. Now, these grays have come back and they've made agreements with those in our shadow government. Okay. All right. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you. Much appreciated, hon. They're not going to reveal that. They were supposed to reveal the files on JFK, and they didn't reveal it. They locked the files up again. You know what I mean? So And there are reports of JFK, he was going to get rid of the fiat currency. He was going to open the files on the UFOs. He was going to eliminate the CIA. So there are a lot of things that he was trying to do that really warranted his death. They were like, we got to get rid of this guy. He's going to wreck everything. So I want to thank you all for tuning in today. You guys are just wonderful, all of you guys, and you've asked some wonderful questions. So thank you. And I want to say this, listen, thank you for supporting me, for being here these many years. Please spread this information if you can. It's important that we get this out there, especially to this UFO community who keeps having these conventions and stuff, and they still haven't figured out the truth. See, because they're not trying to spiritually connect themselves to the Akashic records. So their minds are clouded and they can't see the truth, which is right in front of their eyes. All right. So this is Qesankh Keperu, son of Ma'at and Tahuti. Ma'at is the beautiful goddess Heteru. Until my next video, Amun Ra.